plays a lot of generals and offered military and police people over on low budget movies. But his father, it works this way. Martin Sheen, when he started acting, couldn't get jobs as a Latino, so he picked out Martin Sheen. Was a Bishop Fulton Sheen. Mm-hmm. That was a good Irish name, so he took Fulton Sheen's last name, became Martino Estevez. He became Martin Sheen. Mm-hmm. And Charlie took his father's name, the acting name, where all the other children took the family name, including his uncle's got the family name, which is Estevez. So remember, his brother Ramon is one of the Brat Pack. Not Charlie, Ramon. That's Ramon, like in the bad, when they're up there in the Breakfast Club doing all those dances, with Christy Alley and Netter. That's the older brother. So, but he's the stable brother because he's a film producer, director, writer, all of these things. But Charlie, he's putting on one hell of an act at the moment. Like, it's just like okay, here's a good one. If you're sick is what they're trying to say is...
You can't do
it, but what is your drive to make so much money? Mm-hmm. 6 children, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, he's got children by 3 wives or something. And basically,
that was...
I look at him as a doctor. I'm a veterinarian. Yeah, a veterinarian. But I look at him, I see somebody that's physically sick, not mentally ill. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something far more, all you got to do is listen to his father talking. Charlie has a cancer. Mm. And then, he drinks too much. But Charlie has a cancer. He takes too many drugs. Charlie has a cancer. He keeps telling people Charlie has a cancer. Mm-hmm. And I think I think father is, when he's sitting there like this, it's just like father is consigned to the fact that his son is probably dying. Mm. And there's nothing you can do. So if you're dying, okay, it goes back, in part of my family has an old, in the Jewish world there was a saying, you have a choice, if you know you're going to die, you can decide to die as a ram or a lamb. And if Charlie is as ill as I have a suspicion he is, I think he's deciding to go out as a ram.
Good for you, Charlie.
Yeah, look at the gentleman. Look at the gentleman 2 weeks ago versus him now, and he's not taking drugs and he's not drinking at the moment. Because I can tell you one thing, you don't drink chocolate milk. It curdles on your stomach.
Oh, does it?
And he's drinking lots of chocolate milk because that sounds like ulcer time.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you're an alcoholic, milk curdles on your stomach and it tends to come right back up. And it does not work. It does not set on alcohol well. And he is drinking lots of chocolate milk. He's telling people, I flat out, he's telling anybody, give me a drug test right now or an alcohol test and I'll pass it. He's telling everybody that. He's challenging him, you think that I'm on drugs or alcohol, give me a test right now and I'll pass it. But he's getting sicker looking.
Yeah.
So I can remember that same look on Bill Bixby, who I knew, and Michael Landon, who I knew, and was it Patrick Swayze? They all had that gaunt look about them. And like I said, just listen to his father. Charlie has a cancer. Charlie drinks too much. Charlie has a cancer. Charlie uses drugs. Charlie has a cancer. He spends too much time. Charlie has a cancer. He's not taking care of his body like he should. Charlie has a cancer. So I think Daddy is telling everybody Charlie's dying.
Which would be really, really sad.
Yeah.
Is, when there's likable actors that are extremely talented, it's like you just want to, there's certain actors and actresses, it's like whatever show they're in, you'll watch it just because you enjoy them as a character.
Here's the trick. They won't work with him if he has a cancer and is dying. He can't get insurance. They'll work with him if he's an alcoholic and takes drugs. Because those are things that they can handle, being an alcoholic and drugs. Cancer, they just automatically, another one, Robert Urich I knew. Robert Urich got fired from the last show he was on because he was dying of cancer.
Really?
Yeah, they axed out Patrick Swayze's show because he was dying from cancer. They dumped Bill Bixby's last show. He died of cancer.
What happens if you're dying with cancer and you have a pay-or-play contract? Do you have to pay him?
They don't, basically, if you can't pass the insurance physical, you don't get a pay or play contract.
Oh, okay.
You have to pass the insurance. They will not.
So they don't get charged for not being able because they're sick?
No, they just, you can't get a pay, because the insurance agency will not insure people. Like we have a company that basically is a completion bond company that virtually everything in Hollywood has to sign. If you're a union project, you have to make certain that people get their money, so you sign a completion bond which guarantees everybody gets paid. And they're not going to sign a contract with somebody they think is dying. Mm-hmm. No way. You're not going to let you hire that person. I mean, okay, like when Rock Hudson was dying, people were paying the money, I think, out of their own pockets to get him to be, to work on their show because he was still Rock Hudson. When Liberace was dying, people were, they were foregoing the thing and paying him out of their pockets, so he was not part of what was going on. A lot of people, that's how they do it. I mean, Buddy Epson, for instance, was healthy as a horse and couldn't work anymore after he turned 89 because he couldn't get a contract because he was always fragile looking. So he died at 96.
Well, I know, 89 is still pretty old.
Yeah, and then, but he couldn't pass the insurance physical. And they are not going to put you in something that costs a lot of money without having an insurance thing. If Sheen is working, it's because he's passing the physical, or it's because somebody is taking the money out of their pocket and putting it on the table for him to work on a project because they know, okay, say you give him $1 million out of your pocket and you know that you bring in $29 million in an overnight.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. So you don't worry about it, but we'll see. It also works this way too. If Charlie is sick, I mean, physically ill with something that is terminal, he can play this out to the hilt, and if he dies, they'll just put him down as a bad boy dying from, abusing his body instead of dying from an illness.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Because if you've got that record, we're talking, I knew an actor called Stephen Cochran, who basically had an extremely bad heart which was keeping him from working. Stephen Cochran was a hellraiser. Yeah. He died from a heart attack while on a boat full of women, his crew.
Isn't that the way to go?
Tyrone Power died of a heart attack. Errol Flynn, his career was starting to peak again, died of a heart attack. And those guys were having trouble getting insurance policies to work. They were working on lower and lower budget things that didn't have insurance connected to them because they all had severe heart conditions. All of them died while on sets of movies. I mean, the only one that died on a big budget was Tyrone Power. Tyrone Power had a congenital heart problem.
So what did they do? I don't know how much of the movie they finished. Can they fill somebody in?
Okay, what they did, with the thing with Tyrone Power, which was like Solomon, well, basically they put Yul Brynner in his role. Mm-hmm. But everything from, a lot of the sword fighting scenes, a lot of the action stuff was basically, because basically you're talking, Tyrone Power was a fencing master. I mean, his father was a fencing master. His grandfather taught fencing. So all of the sword fighting scenes, a lot of them are Tyrone Power. And a lot of everything from the back, when they get a close-up, is Yul Brynner. Mm-hmm. So Brynner filled in for Power because I think they shot like 50% of the movie.
Yeah, because so sometimes, they still can go ahead and finish the movie. In fact, on some of the action movies, don't they do most of the heavy action?
First, yeah, because I remember Pierce Brosnan, they tried to kill me. And they said because the works, if they kill you during the first 2 weeks of the movie when all the action stuff is done, the whole movie's covered anyway. They basically broke all the other guys that basically Bonds didn't bother to tell him that they schedule all the stuff, and Brosnan got hurt the first 2 weeks.
Did he?
Remember he cracked ribs. He
is that what happened?
did a thing where he's sliding, coming across the floor, sliding, and ran into a chair that was fixed and not. He was supposed
to move and didn't move,
and he slammed right into the fixed chair and he busted his ribs. And basically, he was able to continue on in the movie because they did all of that stuff up front. And if basically, the love scenes weren't going to kill him, so. And a lot of setting down and things like that. But everything action was done up front. But Power, they didn't know that Power had a heart problem until it hit him. And he kept working, knowing that it was getting worse. But he was 39, trying to move. Okay, he just starting to move up the food chain again.
Well, and part of it, the challenge is as an actor, it's like you don't want to let them know that there's something wrong.
They won't hire you.
That's right.
They won't hire you. I mean, you think that anybody in this business would hire a person my age if I didn't look like I couldn't whip a bear with a stick? I can, folks. I mean, I'm a great big German and American Indian.
Yeah, so you got to be healthy and just keep on going out there.
I look healthy. I mean, I can't let the fact. Okay, I've got all the things that happen. I guess. I mean, like I said, I've told it before. I never knew somebody my age when I was younger, so I have no comprehension of whether you're supposed to do the things I do at my age. I still do. You know, I heard Sean Connery the other day, who basically said that he could physically do the same things he did, you know, when he did The Rock. He said, but I have to get my waistline down. And he said the problem is that you know, I don't want to be walking off with the great grandmother in the movie, which is what he wanted. You know, he does not want to play great grandfathers. So he basically doesn't work anymore. But he's just as healthy as a bull. I mean, he does cartoon work. He does voiceovers and stuff for commercials. He does everything, but he will not appear on a camera. And he could get insurance, but he just doesn't want to get in shape, and he doesn't want to. He's used to getting the young lady. He doesn't want to get their grandmother. Now, it's not getting off the topic, but Roger Moore has been working since 1939, folks. 1939.
1930. That's a long time.
Roger Moore, he worked with
1939. I mean, this is 2011.
Yeah, but
so I mean,
yeah, but he basically stopped getting him. You know, he does stage work, he does commercials, he does things, you know, but he basically doesn't do movies anymore for the same reason, because he said this was what happened. I worked with this actress in the 1940s. I worked with her daughter in the 1950s. I worked with the granddaughter in the 1970s, and God forsake it, I worked with the great-granddaughter in the 1990s. I was not going to work with the great-granddaughter. See, yeah.
Although, I guess it's worse than a female working with an actor as the daughter, the wife, and then the mother of an actor.
Oh, no, it happened. It happened with Suzanne Plachette with Lloyd Bridges. She was his girlfriend, playing his young girlfriend. Then she was his wife. Then she played his older sister. And then they asked if she'd play his mother. That was it. That's basically when she stopped, because Bridges, he said the problem is the guys don't age and the women get older. She was not going to play that man's mother when he was 30 years older than she was. So, playing the older sister, yes. Mother, no. You know, but that's happens. But it also happens too. Is just you have certain actors, like Bridges, I know, didn't know he was sick. He couldn't understand. He'd never been sick in his life. Which he never had problem with insurance. I think it was like 89, 90 years old.
Yeah, the problem is you've never been sick in your life.
And he had no immunity to the common cold. Leslie Nielsen, who was as strong as an ox, died from a common cold. You know, a lot of actors, I think Dan Blocker died basically from a cold, had complications of it. They're all, you know, a lot of these actors die because they're healthy outdoors all the time. They die from things that nobody can imagine of. But Sheen, though, is sick. He's not. I don't think he's sick mentally. I think he's physically sick, and it's just a doctor's point of view. And I feel bad about it, because I mean he's, you know, I mean for instance, they said that he's trying to bank $80 million. Why? Why is he trying to bank $80 million? Why
because
so
you can.
No, but
no, but there's a motivation behind it.
There's a reason for wanting to bank $80 million, because I've heard him say it multiple times. You know, if he's dying, which it does look like,
take care of.
He's taking care of kids, even though it doesn't look like it. So he becomes a total scoundrel. He's remembered as a scoundrel, and not remembered as somebody that did something right. You know.
And the whole time he was doing something right.
Yeah, you know, it's like the guy that goes out. I mean, we'll go out. I mean, my father knew a Major League Baseball player who was he was also an actor and a stunt person. The guy knew that he had a bad heart, and he knew. They told him don't play baseball again, so he wasn't going to play baseball again. But the team needed an extra player for the playoffs. It was, you know. And they basically asked him, you know, we got to have you. the guy basically hit a home run, inside the park home run to win the championship. You know, won the league championship, won their pennant. They said he was dead from the moment he took his first step from home plate.
Oh.
And he basically, they said that they could, as he rounded first, they could basically, everybody in the stands could see that he's basically just slowing down.
Oh.
But it's an inside the park. He had to score for the team to win the game if he got, because there was nothing behind him. And he's just like, everybody could see, like the whole stand. I mean, the balls are being thrown in because the guys in the field, the catcher could see what's going on. The infielders could all see what's going on. Just in slow motion. He's rounding second base and just starting to collapse and going around third base, and he dropped dead at home plate. But that's what he did. He basically knew if he did it, he'd die. He was told never to do it again. I know.
If he did what?
Yeah, if he went and played, if he did anything athletic again, it was going to kill him. He was told that. I know another singer, a professional singer, that basically he promised that he would do a benefit. And he was the star of the benefit, and he knew he was dying. I mean, he knew it. Instead of going to the hospital for the heart problem, he came out, and he basically, like they said, his signature song, he had never sang a song that great in his life. He walked off stage and died. That's how it is. I mean, they do these things, they end up dying for a noble purpose, and people basically, well, he was stupid. Well, yeah. A lot of them leave people behind. I mean, I know actors that basically left big families on because they had committed to do something, and the promise to do it overrode their family. And like I said, I think something's wrong with Charlie. Look at his face, folks. Look at Charlie 2 weeks ago. Look at Charlie a week ago. Look at Charlie today. And if Charlie's telling you can give him a drug test and an alcohol test, he can pass him, there's something else wrong.
Yeah.
So, I guess until... We'll hear more about Charlie Sheen as we go on.
You're going to hear much more about him.
Yeah, so until next time, this is Oldecam.
And this is Not a Spring Chicken. We're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow in 2D as well as in 3D. And watch our daily newscast in 3D, wherever you're watching, subscribe to us and follow us.
Yeah, www.montybubbles.net on the net. And very shortly, we hope to have an RSS feed for people too. So,
thank you very much.